Salute, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on the Reasonable Wrestling Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about AEW's angle at the end of their show. Pretty much liking them to the NWO and what's going on over there. We don't know what's going on, how they're using Swerve moving forward. And we're going to talk about the WWE draft. But let's drop that. Let's drop that intro.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
That's it. Yo, welcome everybody. It's the Joint Roller Ayatollah here, my tag team partner CT, aka Chief Bang. What's happening, brother?
What's good, everybody? We're here with the Underground Wrestling Podcast, Reasonable Wrestling. As you mentioned, Chitty Bang, Joint Roller Ayatollah. We're here to bring to you the week that was in professional wrestling. So thank you guys for joining us. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, rate, follow, all that good shit, and check us out on wherever podcasts are podcasts. iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there if you want an audio experience. If you are joining us on the audio experience, salute. Thank you for joining us. But we're here on the live broadcast to discuss the week that was in professional wrestling. And this week was very, very, as my co-host would like to put it, nonsensical. And he says that due to a lot of things that have been going on partially in AEW, which he has defended a lot this year. So to his credit, he has been defending y'all. So if he has a criticism, you might want to listen because he's been on the board and defending y'all the entire year. But let's kick it off with AEW. Check us on RW Podcast 1 on Twitter, by the way, and Reasonable Wrestling Podcast everywhere if you got trying to find us. But let's kick it off with AEW angle, their big angle this week. We had. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, everybody. Ayatollah here. I do Ayatollahs on AEW. You feel me? So you probably seen me already earlier this week. Yeah. My co-host was about to be really, really nice and breaking this shit down. We all seen it. We all know it's Sunday. Shit happened Wednesday. Let's talk about it. All right. I've listened to Eric Bischoff. I listened to Jim Cornette. I know those are two guys that are, we might lose some people. But okay, the way they described it combined is what y'all call a nigga, Magneto and Charles. What's that combination nigga y'all call that? What's his name?
What?
Nigga, that's me right now.
Okay.
I am onslaught right now. I am the baby of Eric Bischoff and Jim Cornette right now. Boy, that shit was 2 packs of ass. Boy, what? Boy, what? Oh, I let the joint sit with me. Now, hold on. I'm not even finna start with y'all lame ass niggas. I'm gonna go to what Twitter might call a lame ass nigga. Okay, but that ain't my words. I fuck with Swerve. Swerve is my guy. How they treating Swerve? How they treat Swerve is a lame ass champion, bro. The first time we see Swerve on Wednesday after Dynasty, he's wrestling Kyle Fletcher. No disrespect to Kyle Fletcher. I know he good. I know he can work. They ain't got nothing in the plans for your boy. So why he in the ring with Swerve? Why is that the first opponent? Why is that the first person that is able to grace the ring with your new world champion who just did the climb, who did the journey, who did the boom, 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 boom? We followed, and that's the first dude y'all finna put him in a ring with? Then This ain't even a Dynamite thing. This is a Rampage Collisions. This is the combination. The second time I see my man, he on the joint. Prince Nana giving us what we want, a promo, thanking everybody to sacrifice my daughters. I hope this is good enough for you. This is, I'm gonna make sure that this sacrifice is worth it. And Claudio, you go from Kyle Fletcher to Claudio, and them the two first guys that my man mixed it up with. He looked like a lame duck, bro. I'm tight. I'm tight.
Okay.
Tight.
All right. I've had a lot of criticism on AEW over the past, like, let's say past year. Because ever since MJF and Bryan Danielson at Revolution last year, I felt like a decline happened after that match. And they weren't doing the women's division. They weren't doing anything right. And then there's all the drama that happened at Wembley and everything going forward. Till now, only thing I've really been coming there to show for was the Hangman Page and Swerve storyline, and Swerve himself storyline growing to becoming the world champion. Toni Storm been incredible, her changing character and all that stuff. And every now and then they put on a good match where I'm like, let me just tune in and see this, but as far as the storytelling aspects, I've been killing it, When it comes to Swerve, I'm gonna make this a separate thing. Let's talk about Swerve, and then we can talk about the angle 10 to finish the night. When it comes to Swerve, it's a complete abomination on how they've used him thus far. It is just 1 week. However, I do think, like,
first impressions are everything, bro. Huh? First impressions are everything, bro.
Exactly. And that's like I said to you last week before. I was like, going into the pay-per-view, was it Revolution? Dynasty. Going into Dynasty, I was like, like, we should be talking more about Swerve being the first Black AEW champion. And going into it, I already had a feeling that they weren't making that the main story, much less making anything the main story. I know they tried to, and I like him signing the contract in his own blood and all that stuff. I thought it was dope. I loved what he has been doing whenever he's on screen. However, when it comes to now how you present him as champion is almost just as important as the build to get him to be champion. Because we've seen champions come and go. We've seen transitional champions in wrestling. And this is not Japanese. I mean, I know you guys like the Japanese style of wrestling and presenting wrestling and them telling stories in the ring and all that stuff. But in America, that pocket and that audience is very small that know and understand that format and will gravitate to your product. You have to present your champion in a certain way to show him as the top dog, as the man. Or else, in my opinion, then that guy shouldn't be the champion if you don't present him that way. You either give Swerve the mic and let him go and claim and represent AEW, or you don't put the title on him at all, So going forward, and this connects to the second angle with the whole Jack Perry situation, that right now, clearly because of the whole showing the airing the footage of what happened at All In, has taken a lot of the attention away from the entire roster, much less the champion. I think the only way to pivot is to include Swerve in this as the flag bearer of AEW and get him to defend his boss, Tony Khan, who he just gifted his own sneakers. He has his own sneaker, guys. So shout out to Swerve, you got his own sneaker. He gifted his own sneaker to Tony Khan. He clearly loves his boss. Clearly respects his boss for giving him this opportunity that he has in AEW and building him to this point. So for him to be the guy to defend his honor, because what happened, we all know, if you guys haven't known, the Elite, Jack Perry punched him in the stomach with a mic after apologizing. And then you had the Young Bucks come down to, play as if they're going to say, what you're doing, like, stop. And then they tease the V trigger or the EVP trigger. Okada stopped them, but then they end up hitting him with a Meltzer driver, and that's the big deal. If you haven't seen it, I mean, just running it through in case you haven't. So that's what I'm talking about. And everybody's been talking about that this week as likening them to when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash powerbombed Eric Bischoff off the stage through a table in WCW. Like, when this is the inaugural stages of the NWO. And I mean, I play into it because I'm playing as AEW knows the name of the title of the show. But one thing I will give credit for is that this is an attempt to spin all that negative press into an actual story. I do think it's in hindsight kind of like revisionist history. I don't think they intended this, but I now think that you got mad people talking about your product, even if it isn't a bad way. All right, now how do I get those people to talk about this product and talk about the actual superstars? How do I get them to talk about the product and talk about what actually happened on TV, right? Not some fight backstage. And I think this is a clever way to do it, although it may take some time for it to pay off. It may take some time for it to actually be like something that we as a fan say, okay, I see where they're going.
Now, I want to. Okay, so let's back, and this goes back to what I'm saying as far as Jim Cornette and Eric Bischoff, right? What new audience that wasn't already there is going to see that and stay?
It's not going to be a short-term thing. It's not to me. It's not going to be something that happens and I got to see next week immediately. Maybe there's some people. I think there's some people that might see them like, oh, and they have affinity for Tony Khan. They like him as a boss and what he created with AEW. But most of the people are going to be people who are already watching AEW. You're talking about new audience. I think that comes down the line, and I think that this is one thing I like about the angle is that it builds some substance of lore to AEW. We're not talking about WWE. We're talking about just AEW. We're spinning a controversy into cash like Eric Bischoff would do, and I like the attempt to do that. I don't think that this right now is gonna be like, oh man, that made sense. I think that down the line, what happens with Jack Perry after this? What happens with the Young Bucks and Swerve? And now they're bringing Kenny Omega back, who Kenny didn't even know that he was announced for the show until it happened. So shame on y'all for booking him for a show he did not even know. But anyways.
But hold on, stay.
No, real quick.
Finish.
No, real quick, because I think I mean I don't know where you're going, but I know that if Kenny Omega comes back and he's the guy defending Tony Khan's honor, I don't like it per se, because that goes to these guys right here on my shirt being the focal point of AEW the entire time. And I need you guys to input Swerve in defending this so he can be the guy who's the champion defending AEW's honor against these evil EVPs. Because you want your top babyface to be in this position. And I'm sorry, but Will Ospreay fighting for international championship right now makes no sense. Even if it was him, it would make more sense. But Swerve is the champion. So in some aspect, you want people who are talking about something to eventually bring all those eyeballs and talk about your champion. So if they don't do that, this is a complete failure. If this just becomes a Young Bucks, Jack Perry, Kenny Omega, circle jerk, this is a complete failure. I'll say that. But if you can use this to spin into somebody, because the EVPs overstepping their boundaries and they're trying to take over as evil authority figures, and Swerve's seeing that, and he combats that. He's like, you guys didn't want to give me a mic last week after my first victory. If you spin all this drama into the on-screen story of AEW, I think there's money there. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
Okay, that money. Okay, so Jack Perry's the number one selling merch right now in AEW. Okay, but is that new money? It just may. I
don't know if it's new money or not, but I think that in the long run it can be. To me, the match you should put for Double or Nothing is Jack Perry versus Swerve. I think that's what you should get to. I know you don't like this, but just walk with me here. Walk with me here. Or what does Chad think to say? Just follow me, bro. Like, if you have all these eyeballs, and this is AEW's fan base, all these eyeballs on Jack Perry, what is he going to do next? If Swerve can defeat Jack Perry in a big moment at Double or Nothing in a big angle, then I think that does more for Swerve's title reign than putting him with anybody else at this moment. Like, who will you put it? Because if you put him with anybody else, it's just what they've been doing. Him having a random match with no story to attach and him defending a championship. And they'll say, oh, he's a fighting champion. A fighting champion to me feels always like a transitional champion on some facet, unless it's the inaugural champion like Seth Rollins. Then the fighting champion always kind of feels like, oh, we're just going to put it on you and you're just going to defend matches in the middle of the card until we put it on somebody who has.
That's not true. Moxley was a fighting champion. Moxley was a fighting. No, I mean, okay. So okay. So let me I'll let you land. I think.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
No. Talk your shit because I think let's just go back and forth, bro. You got it.
Swerve and Jack Perry makes my dick limp.
I know.
Right? I like it.
You know what I'm trying to say?
I mean, but I okay. So, okay. So this goes. Sorry to keep quoting it. I know Jack Perry may be tougher than me. Takes bumps, jumps off of shit, ladders, tables, all types of stuff. Me and him are the same size. Him and Tony Khan are the same size. Swerve versus Jack Perry will look like Swerve facing an athletic Tony Khan. I've seen Swerve bulk up, get muscle mass, make himself into a heavyweight so he can compete with Hangman Page, so he can compete with Samoa Joe, so he can be in the heavyweight class and be the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. That ain't Jack Perry. And Jack Perry ain't that caliber of a character either. So when you talking about even this scapegoat thing, bro, before, bro, we didn't like. I will speak for me. I ain't like that shit. Him being in New Japan and everything like that, like I didn't like that shit. I didn't get that shit. I didn't really necessarily care for that. It didn't make me care for the Crimea River. Like, that gets you over, yes. That gets people talking, yes. But it doesn't get them talking about anything positive. Crimea River is always gonna. You want to say they're talking about AEW? The premise, right? The start, the genesis, the reason why we have to go through all of these loops to create what we're creating is because of the issue at hand of Crimea River. Again, you're egging that on, Jack Perry. You putting that on merch, Jack Perry. You want to call yourself the scapegoat because, again, Tony Khan, I think, might have been on record and said, man, he was the straw that broke the camel's back with CM Punk. That's an investment. That's money that we lost, everything like that, because you, Jack Perry, could not take an L. Ultimately, that, as a boss, when we talk about delegation, and when we talk about in sports, when certain guys have equity that another person don't, when you create a locker room that nobody's above the locker room, but CM Punk is above the locker room, you kind of have to go by that guideline. Tony Khan did not. We killed them plenty of times on that. But at the end of the day, when someone has to be punished, it will be somebody like Jack Perry. It has to be. Whether we liked, and listen, Matt and Nick liked the guy. That's why he's back. That's why he's not fired. That's why he's not let go. That's why he went to go work with people in good hands over in New Japan. Everything like that. So Jack Perry's in good hands. He don't need to be bumped up to the main event.
I think it's only right if he's selling the most merch. I think that he's already been in the main event before. And I think that's the biggest story in AEW. And this is the only reason why I'm saying that. I'm not saying that because I'm a big Jack Perry fan. You already know me. I think that they made a mistake by turning him heel to begin with. I think he should have been a babyface all last year. I think that was a misstep on their part. But we're here now. We're here now. Jack Perry is bona fide heel. He's aligned himself with EVPs, the Young Bucks, and Okada. Okada has the Continental Championship, so I don't see it being a title for title match versus Swerve. But yeah, I would like to see that match more. But if you're talking about actual storytelling, which is what I've been complaining about, I'm saying that okay, from where we are right now with Jack Perry, he's not like he's not gonna wrestle at all at Double or Nothing. And Jack Perry and the Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and FTR does not make me happy or satisfied. That's not where I want to go with things. I think that making it centered around the elite, always having the top story, is really bad for AEW going forward. You want to get some of that energy and spread it around to your other roster and have somebody combat them that is not part of this group, this like friend group, So I think that if you get Swerve versus Jack Perry and Swerve gets a big victory over him, I think it's a great thing for Swerve because of the conversation that's been already happening. I think it's and I know he was saying he's a small guy, but he's been a small guy his entire career. It's not like
is that a big victory? Because Jack Perry wrestled Shingo. I'm sorry. Jack Perry wrestled fucking Sonata. What the fuck that do for Sonata, bro?
It's more about the storyline leading up to the match rather than just the match. Because Bryan Danielson is a small guy too, but you would see that match and be like, oh, that's
Bryan Danielson is not compared. Stop, bro.
I'm just saying. You said size before. I'm just give me a break, bro. I'm just saying. You mentioned size of Jack Perry. I didn't bring up the size of Jack Perry. I'm just talking about story.
Yeah, Jack Perry's not the size of Bryan Danielson either. And Jack Perry's not the wrestler of Bryan Danielson either. Like that's not even non-comparable.
Okay, and I hear where you're coming from. You're talking about the wrestler versus and the match, the actual booking of the match. I'm with you. Jack Perry versus Swerve right now is not like must-see match. But if you tell a story where Swerve and Jack Perry and Swerve's going against the EVPs and Jack Perry and Kenny and Okada, and you get to Dynamite and he's defending the championship against one of them, and they're trying to take the title away from him, and he has to find a way to keep the title in possession, that is an actual story that can sell tickets because people will be behind Swerve, and that's what I'm trying to get to. And I know we're not there right now, and we're not selling tickets off of just the last Dynamite, but we can get there because there is a disconnect between Swerve being the AEW World Champion and what they're trying to present on screen as the top story, as the top angle, and that's where I'm trying to connect it to. Because there is a problem with Swerve right now. I do think that just throwing him in matches is not doing anything good for his reign, but we can still pivot right now. There's still time. I know last week was a mistake. We can change that next week immediately with Swerve coming out and calling it out.
Okay, so I know we get sensitive when we cut off each other and we just dismiss. Jack Perry and Swerve ain't the pivot for me. Now I can hear you on the pivot. I can see what you're. I can. You saying Swerve needs to be the flag bearer of AEW and lead the charge. What would make this better is if Hangman came home. Hangman's an EVP. Hangman moves the story. If Hangman comes and pushes weights around and he's an EVP and he evokes some things, and now Hangman and Swerve, I think I said it. It got to be Hangman Swerve or Hangman and Osprey. There is nothing else.
Okay, I can see
that. There is nothing else that makes this even remotely big, because here's my thing, and I the reason why I keep shutting down the big match, and I'm not cutting down the angle. Angles don't make matches when at the end of the day, like, so Cornette was like, how the hell Shane Taylor lose to a guy with his hands in his pocket 50% of the match? Like, some of the things just don't present. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the things just don't present. Like, Shane Taylor should have beat the fuck out of Orange Cassidy, boy. And again, this is my thing. How many times them niggas gotta lose? And they just lost to another tag. They just lost to Daniel Garcia and Shibata.
Yeah.
This is my thing. The presentation. What's that story? They lose and Rumble, young man, Rumble, we gonna take it. What the fuck is that story, cuz?
Yo, every time they lose and they say,
bro, I don't want to hear shit that nigga say, bro. I fast for every fucking promo, bro. Like, what the fuck you gotta say to me, bro?
It gets me upset because the promos are good. The promos are good, but they have no weight when you go out there and lose to these scrubs. And it's not. And you're right. The president. Let's talk about it. We talked about this in the inception of AEW. The presentation of black wrestlers. Now, yeah, just putting a consolation prize on Swerve right now, and your champion. There you go, first AEW black champion. Anyways, let's have Jack Perry come back and steal all the steam in the room of what's going on in this company. And I do think on some levels it's smart, only because the conversation already was since All In, all about this bullshit. But that's how you transfer the energy of what you left off with CM Punk and Jack Perry and all this drama and bring it to the television show and create a bona fide heel. We don't like Jack Perry. We've not been a big fan of him, but I can say that making him a good heel is something that could work. And
you know why I ain't never been a good fan of him? Because when Adam Cole came, guess who they fucking put in the match with fucking Adam Cole? And guess where Adam Cole been since he wrestled fucking Jack Perry? In the fucking shitter.
That is a difference
in the shitter, bro.
There's a difference between causation and correlation.
Nah, fuck that. It's in my brain, bro. Adam Cole
twice.
Nigga.
Get twice. That had nothing to do with Jack Perry. It had nothing to do with that dude. So I hear you, bro. But yo, for real, like I get where you're coming from. Because if they have Hangman come back and he joins his boys in the Elite, and Kenny Omega's trying to talk some reason, but they take out Kenny Omega and Hangman is joins the whole. Now it's Okada, Hangman, EVPs, and Jack Perry, and Hangman's the one to go after Swerve at Dynamite. I mean, at the Double Nothing. I'm with you on that too. So that's another way where you can take the energy of this new regime to then highlight Swerve in a major storyline. Only reason why I said Jack Perry because Hangman's not around right now. If they do introduce him, then that's a way that you can get to a match that you like as well as the angle. So it combines the two. So I hear where you're coming from.
And when you talk about selling tickets and when you talk about angles and everything like that, bro, I drank your blood. You was in my crib with my baby. Nigga, ain't no story bigger than that right now. I don't give a fuck what you can manufacture with Jack Perry. And a story in AEW bigger than a motherfucker drinking another nigga blood after we've been out through a pandemic and we had to take Moderna shots and shit like that, bro.
You will never get over that.
I ain't never getting over that, cuz.
But no, I hear you, man. I think that if they say like, listen, Swerve, we have a problem with you as champion. Yeah, you're not quite the what we want for our company and moving forward. We think that it will be better on Hangman, and he's a right representation of AEW. And they try to play into that, and then Hangman comes back and he's like, I'm taking this title off you immediately. You're not going to have one more month as champion. And he's dead set on taking this title from Swerve, and that the EVPs are trying to organize it so that they're taking it from him too. That's a great story in itself. So I hear you on that. So, and that's a great main event with the heavyweight men, so I hear you. So I'm 100% on board with that as well. But with Jack Perry selling his merchandise, I think that's also a big angle that you can't miss on where you go with it next. I think that now that he's selling merchandise, people are talking about him. Crimea River, you may not like it, but there's a lot of people talking about it in the wrestling space. Where you go with Jack Perry, you can make him into a big star. You can make him into a legitimate pillar that you wanted to make him in the first place. But it takes really carefully navigating where you go now, because it can be completely corny or it can be brilliant. So I don't.
I told you, nigga, from jump when they name dumb niggas as pinnacles of holding a company up. What I say? I say Jack Perry, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and MJF as the cornerstones. Like, bro, if Jack Perry ain't listen, whoa, I get you. Niggas sing his song, buy his merch. Every time we try to give him a situation where we care about him, who fucks it up? Is it us or is it the fans? Because we been a tag team, been following. They did that story wrong. Him and Luchasaurus. Fine, that's okay. He want to be a single star. I'm gonna win championship gold. They did that story wrong because they could have kept him a babyface. All right, like what you want to talk about faith that you don't have in WWE or the faith that you don't have in AEW storytelling? What do you feel like tells you that they can make Jack Perry a big star? When you see with Swerve, they had it ready made and they gave him fucking Cal Fletcher and fucking Claudio Castagnoli.
I mean, that's a complete misstep on their part. I've been telling you, they don't know how to tell stories because I think that's how you do. You gotta make what's Swerve's next big challenge? It's not just throwing him in matches and having him have a match in the middle card. Mind you, Kyle Fletcher is like, what is he, like 6'4"? Dude's tall dude, and he can wrestle. Him going out there and losing to people and Shibata, them going up and just losing matches does nothing for them. You know, so like how they use talent, I just don't get it. This is not New Japan, guys. So it's just American television. We've been programmed or pretty much set to a place when you turn on that television, we want to see a story. Like that's just how we've been conditioned in America. So when you just have these guys and they lose matches, it just says this guy doesn't mean anything, even though they're supremely talented. And as much as you get on Jack Perry, my thing is to be productive and say, all right, these are all the Lego pieces. How do we get everybody over at the same time, including Jack Perry, including Swerve, including
that's why I want to fight back. I don't give a fuck about everybody.
That's you, yeah. But
hold on. I don't. Okay, listen. Your new fucking champion in the first week, in the first 3 shows, and you want to talk about everybody else? I don't give a fuck about everybody else. I don't give a fuck about Kyle Fletcher. I don't give a fuck about Claudio. You need to set up fucking Swerve Strickland. And it don't got shit.
We got that. Like we've talked.
But when you talk, no, your whole thing is still talking about Jack Perry and some fucking shit that they trying to turn. I don't give a fuck about none of that. The tables turn when you had Dynasty, bro. The tables turn when you move forward.
Just saying you don't give a fuck about it doesn't mean there's a plan that you can get to there. So what is your plan now for Swerve? If you don't care about that, then forget about that. Forget about Jack Perry, Kyle Fletcher, and Claudio. What's your plan for Swerve? Just throw Hangman back in. Just do what we already did. That's it. Like so
you said do what we already did. That as a whole, you told my story. Do something that we already did that has a different element that it never had before.
But I'm not that. And I just explained that story, and I said yeah. But you want to act like I just want to talk about Jack Perry. I just explained how that angle could work. I'm talking about AEW as a whole, brother. You're hyper focused on Swerve, and I get it. I already acknowledged that. I already said that was wrong. I don't know what else you want me to fucking say about that. I'm talking about
when you say AEW as a whole,
yeah, I said as a whole because the controversy and not just me and you talking about just the black champion. Everybody in the wrestling space, what are they talking about? Keeping an eye on what talking about. Keeping an eye on what are people talking about on Twitter. How do we use all that conversation and divert the energy so we also get Swerve over as the top baby face in the company? That's what I'm talking about. So don't act like I'm just trying to talk about Jack Perry, bro. I'm just using that as a vessel to get to a better storyline for our champion. And you said,
how can we use this? Is what I'm trying to say. Is listen. I'm not gonna. You think you believe you have all the answers to change this convoluted fucking story into something that's smooth, succinct, that, like you say, gets everybody over and gets everybody on board to watching the show and staying tuned for the show and coming in that shit. If that was like that, bro, me and you would not be doing the pod because we have these ideas and these things all the time. Or the people in place would not be as dumb. Because what I'm trying to say is that the controversy that you want to create cash with is only a controversy if the pivot should be away from this. Like the pivot should be away from okay. As Matt and Nick are the tag champions, as Okada is the international champion. Jack Perry's the world champion.
I would not.
I know, but when we talk about okay, let me finish and let me land. We talking about as a whole, as a company. The whole as a company is led by the Spear. We just said the workman's champion of Jon Moxley, when he was at the helm, I didn't have these things about where the rest of the snake wiggles at. I did not care about the rest of the snake. I did not care about the tail of the snake when Moxley was the champion. Because when Moxley was the champion, the sole focus of the company at the time was to make Moxley as big, as over. They even got Wild Thing, all types of shit. They just focused strictly on the head, on the champion. So they didn't care about anything else. Now, I understand, Tony, this is my thing. Tony Khan now is an on-screen character. When NWO became a thing, you tell me what was able to get everybody over other than the NWO. Because it didn't happen.
This is my point. First of all, you don't have the luxury to only put your attention on the main champion. That's just not how Tony cut to build a company. You just don't. You talked about how Jack Perry is the top merchandise seller, and we should get away from this. That's stupid. If you get away from this, if you're selling merchandise, even though people have been talking about this in a negative light, there's a way to then spin this into something that actually in the long run makes the company better, including your world heavyweight champion, Swerve Strickland. You may not be able to see what I see, and you just saying, hey, I don't give a fuck about all that. Guess what? This is what's going to happen. The elite are here. The elite are going to be here to stay. Tony Khan's not an on-screen character. Jack Perry's going to be around. He got a reaction.
You don't have to explain business.
We're not the only people that are watching the show.
You don't have to explain business to me when I am the fucking person that is the business of the creative is you. So listen, when Acclaim was the top merch sellers, that's why they became tag team champion. I understand. We've been here before. When Orange Cassidy is the fucking when Orange Cassidy is the top merch seller, he's fucking on the beginning of every 8 o'clock when he. But what I am saying is that they, as the top merch seller, were not the lead focus of Tony Khan and the writing staff and the way the show was structured, formatted, whoop-de-whoop. Merch sellers is fine. They still get highlighted and presented. They ain't the end-all be-all.
At the end of the day, I never said that they are the end-all be-all, but I wouldn't put him in this position if they didn't do this angle with Tony Khan. This angle with Tony Khan is a seismic shift or a paradigm shift on AEW's corporate environment behind the stage. This is talking about kayfabe, like the storyline. That impacts everybody on the roster, including your world champion. If you're a world champion and you have nothing to say about the CEO of your company, who you just, gave you the opportunity and you built up strong, who you said, you gave him sneakers and all that stuff, and you said, you know what, thank you for giving me this opportunity. If you have nothing to say as the leader of the company on paper, like as kayfabe, then that's a mistake. So he has to be involved in some aspect if you want the champion to be centered around this. If this wasn't about Tony Khan, I wouldn't bring them up. Like, oh, you can kind of minimize them a little bit over time. You can make sure the elite has a tag team match going forward, or 6-man tag match with Jack Perry. Put him with, who holds the trios championship. Whoever that they
Bang Bang Gang, baby.
They can go against Bang Bang Gang. But since it has Tony Khan and calls into question, okay, how things are running behind the scenes with AEW, it impacts the world champion. And yeah, I think Swerve should be involved in this. Yeah, I think that Jack Perry being the top merch seller is something you can use as a vessel. Yeah, Jack Perry got a big reaction. So
I will ask you this. Let me just ask you this. Do Swerve have any allegiances or alliances, or is he Dolo?
Right now, I think he got away from the whole Moga Embassy stuff, so I haven't seen him around in a while. And they never really told that story on screen, did they? I'm not sure, but you can let me know. Um, so I've seen him with just Prince Nana, but seeing Kenny Omega choose Swerve side of things would be an awesome dynamic. So leading up to Dynamite, leading up to a Double or Nothing, you can have tag team matches with Swerve.
Realistically, that makes Swerve big time. I'll concede we can move forward. We can get off. If Kenny sides with Swerve,
or Swerve comes to defense Kenny, did they jump Kenny Omega and Swerve comes for the save? That's a great way to see, like, all right, the world champion has something to say about this. You know, like okay. One or the other.
I rock with that because I do believe Kenny is, without a shadow of a doubt, like the biggest crossover star that they have, anime, gaming, wrestling, Japan, right? Like he's in a mix of a lot of stuff, right?
But I can see with you that they made all their other champions get a mic. They made all their other champions team bigger than they have Swerve thus far, and it's not okay. And they even made the IWGP Championship, which is on Jon Moxley, feel more important than an AEW Championship on their own show. That is a complete abortion of creativity for your own company. So let's just try to see if we can get it all in line. Do I have faith that they were, with all this being said, everything we talked about, I don't have faith in them. I don't. They've lost a lot of faith in me, and I see Swerve probably in an angle where he faces, I don't know, some random kid, maybe freaking Trent Beretta at Double or Nothing. Like, that's how low faith I have in them. So I'm going to watch the movie, but I want to throw them some bail this week because when you get people talking, hey, that's an opportunity to shake it up. That's an opportunity to say, all right, boom, people are talking. Now they're watching. Well, how do we pivot and make them just stay? How do we make them really interested now? So that's what I was trying to, because I've been killing them. You know what I mean? I wanted to see, okay, where they can go from here. There's a lot of places you can go with it. But I think we beat a dead horse. I think we both see where we're coming from with that. Other than that, Mercedes Moné, she finally had an in-ring promo with Willow. I like Willow a lot. I like Willow on the microphone too. She wasn't bad. Like,
we hear. I know I already talked about it, so I don't want to rehash a lot of shit. But
yeah, the audio issues.
Fucking it's despicable.
But yeah, the audio issues were a problem. I'm just now ready for the match. I know we got a slap. We got some physicality. Stokely's mad funny. Shout out to Stokely. I like him a lot. That happened. Toni Storm is great on the mic. She had a match against Anna Jay. She got a victory. Other than that, that's all I got to talk about. I'm moving
on. Yeah, man. AEW, brother.
The only thing I would say is that if you're having Swerve defend against Kyle Fletcher and Claudio Castagnoli, then once again, your rankings do not matter. And with that being said, you know what else doesn't matter?
Wait, it wasn't. I don't think there were championship matches. Well, Claudio was.
Claudio was. Okay.
Claudio was. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. The rankings don't matter. I'm sorry. Claudio's been losing matches for the longest time.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter, or it seems like it doesn't matter, and that's the WWE draft. Let's get into that conversation. I know there's a lot of talk of like, hey, before and after is the same thing. I know that you said I talked about it on my review recap of SmackDown. You can rebut on what the things I said that bothers you, or you said that you don't see.
Well, I would say first and foremost, Nia's a big star. Like Nia's a big star. Nia is a big enough star with a big enough presence and a big enough story that she's considered a big shift in the rosters. So when he was like, it's nobody but like Mick Carter's and you know what I mean and stuff like that. I just wanted the Nia's immediately in the title situation. You know what I'm saying? Like show.
Nia's a big star, but it's been a long time since she's been in the main since she's been the champion. She's had her match with Rhea Ripley, who she just lost, and I get it. She's in the top of the women's division, absolutely. So that was the biggest shift from Raw to SmackDown. But Nia alone is not enough to say, yeah, this draft.
No, I mean, I would say, again, the draft. This was the first. Okay, so
one other thing, like if Nia was
hold on. I just want to make this draft comparison to you.
Uh-huh.
When we're watching a real draft, NFL draft. Hold on, just
go ahead.
When things go by the script, there's like it's the we going nigga. You call Olu, but when we got mad in November, nigga, like
I did,
bro. You so ain't shit gonna change from the script, right? And the reason why I would say day one is no really ho hum. It's ho humness, right? There's not a lot of seat change in day one. I will say for Raw,
day one, first round, we know like all right, these players probably are best for these teams, and it might be Michael Penix. Oh shit! So that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the Michael Penix moment.
That's Nia to SmackDown.
Nia to me. Wasn't it to me. I thought that because. I can't compare the WWE draft and the NFL draft a lot because I know the big moments come from a change from roster to roster, and I'm waiting for that. It's not like I'm just like, oh, will this player go to this team or 32 other teams? No, it's 31 other teams. It's like, hey, you got two rosters. Who's gonna change? That's my intrigue. If you give me Nia Jax and LA Knight changing. Oh, I'm fine with that.
But what if you get a change on Monday? Is what I'm saying.
LA Knight already stayed on SmackDown.
No, I'm just saying. But what if you get a change on Monday? Like, what if? Okay, and this is my story. This is what I wanted to bring to you, and I think we said on the phone maybe, or we might have talked about it. But a lot of what I was hearing logically from the GMs with their picks wasn't a lot of the seat change. Was like again my free agency, right? Yeah. The draft is also a free agency situation, and when we play, we like I gotta give up because I'm keeping this no matter what, right? Yeah. I want my team to look.
I draft Jordan Davis every time.
Every time, it don't matter. It don't matter what.
Yeah, I try to.
But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because these commissioners, these people, they've got, it's not a lot of things they can't reel in on their show, right? If you think about it, my show runs smooth, we get good ratings, the bosses ain't coming down on me, nobody's looking to take my job, I get good. Like Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce from a legitimate GM situation. If my owner ain't telling me we gotta switch shit up, we keep shit the same. You know what I'm saying?
Well, then what does that do for the storylines you're going to tell throughout the year? And I know you're saying we might get more of that on Monday. My thing is on Monday, start with that immediately.
But I would say to your point though,
overall pick. But her going to SmackDown doesn't have to be like, oh, this is a.
But to your point of the storylines, right? We are in a new. These are legitimately brand new storylines. Now the rosters probably just needed a shakeup in champion, right? Look at SmackDown. Bobby and Cody could work. I don't need Bobby going nowhere. Bobby can stay right there. Bobby versus Roman probably just didn't work in the storyline, but Bobby and Cody works, right? Karrion Kross and Cody could work, right? The roster, there's not a really lot of roster change. We just probably had to need a seat change in the champion. So as Ocho would say, stay with me now. Stay with me now. Stay with me now. The seat changes happen already. We got Damian Priest. We see the baby turned for Damian, right? So keeping Judgment Day as a whole, when they break up, you essentially got parts chopped down. So you got JD McDonough who can go to the mid card, right? We got Finn Balor can immediately go back up to the heavyweight to right. So we can
Priest. I mean, and the Judgment Day. That will be interesting. But my thing is about your first night of the draft, like just SmackDown. And we got Monday, and I know there will be they have to have something change because if it's the same rosters back on both, like I just like, oh, okay, Nia changed, and now we got a couple of NXT call-ups. Those are the things that really was.
Whoa! Don't look past it. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't look past just a couple NXT call-ups. When Braun changed from SmackDown to Raw, Carmelo got called up. And Tiffy is in one of the hottest first acts off of like main. When is the last time since Kevin Owens, legitimately, like an NXT superstar that legitimately in a storyline, not just a match, not just a storyline. Tiffy is so. I don't want you to poo-poo.
This is what I mean. Like the first night, it was NXT call-ups and Nia Jax. That was the main takeaways. My thing is that I enjoy seeing NXT call-ups. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love what they're doing, Tiffy. Braun Breaker's going to go crazy on Raw. My thing is, with the guys we've already had on the main roster, there are other stories that can be told by swapping one or two guys. And they didn't do that with the, so like, and even Ricochet on Raw, like every pick was like, nigga, they're already on that roster. It was like multiple picks. It wasn't just give me one or two more. Where it's an actual shift, like Randy Orton to Raw, or even though I think he's better with Cody on that side, don't be wrong, or Kevin Owens to Raw, like something that where I know we're gonna get it on Monday probably, but that show felt like we're watching the same people be drafted to the same show, other than Nia Jax, so that's why I'm like, yeah, this doesn't mean nothing.
Well, because I think
it
those
doesn't matter because they end up going back on it anyways and having people change.
Well, I will say this though, because and this is what I'm trying to say. When you're looking past the story, when we're talking about AEW, don't lost those stories, you might be looking past the story that you think is ho hum or I'm done or these people are so. LA Knight still on SmackDown, bro. I was just at this nigga house. I was just at jail. This nigga screwed me out of a championship opportunity here. You think I'm done with this nigga? But to go start from scratch on another show? Nah, bro. No, I like that. I like that because LA Knight is still in a situation where we got a tweener situation because LA Knight and Cody can move something. LA Knight and Cody can shake a little something for me. You know what I'm saying?
Like, starting the Raw and saying, yeah, and just saying, like, whose game is it? Welcome to Monday Night Raw. Starting to show off the week of wrestling off. I think that just has a vibe to it. I think he's right for the moment. And then the World Championship, you got Seth Rollins and LA Knight could link up. Him and Damian Priest could link up. Like, it would be so many things that you could do with LA on Raw.
My thing is why you stuck on LA Knight on Raw? I'm asking, like, who else outside because I know that shit, and I don't want you to stick on that, and I don't want that to be a thing. Yeah. And I don't want
you were mentioning LA Knight. That's what I'm saying. I guess why.
Right, but for me though, also for me, when you say what you say, the situation there's other listen, right now. Again,
give LA Knight Money in the Bank, and we'll see what happens. That's what I'm going.
So it don't really even matter what homie
if he wins it though. Like,
but I would say, but this is also my other point though. LA Knight going to Raw don't move the needle for Raw.
I think it does.
Well, how? He's cool on SmackDown, bro.
I think that him on a show that has 3 hours, where you have more opportunity to build him as a character against the Judgment Day, against Seth Rollins, or against whoever on there. I think that him and Bronson Reed probably could link up and do something.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, you killing me, God.
Him and Sammy. You don't think that LA Knight could link up with some of these guys? That he's been on SmackDown for he's been wrestled. He's wrestled people on SmackDown. He's wrestled the LWO.
He ain't wrestled Cody Rhodes, the champion. The championship that this is also a story. We're telling stories, right? That's a championship he went after. That's Roman's chip. That's the chip. You telling me he can fight with niggas on Raw? Like, how you know?
Okay, and then you know what? We want to get down to brass tacks of why I'm saying this. LA Knight has no shot of being Cody. And LA Knight has a shot at beating Damian Priest and becoming a world champion. And before he ends up being old and has to retire, I want to see them capitalize, while the iron's hot with LA Knight. And I think that's what we did with Swerve, that we can now continue to grow with Swerve in AEW. I think the same thing for LA Knight. What the year that those two guys had last year and the energy that they brought to their respective shows deserves to be rewarded. And I think that LA Knight is the same thing on this side, where he hasn't won a title yet, and him winning a mid-card title at this point after facing Roman Reigns and losing, to me, it seems like a lower than where he's supposed to be at. Him and Damian Priest, now that's something.
Him and Damian, and this is that's what I was just about to say. Him going to Raw and him saying who game is it, who night is it, is LA Knight, yeah. And Damian Priest coming out holding the championship and was like, no, it's my show. That is simple, plain, can work. But this goes back to your point. I don't see LA Knight beating Damian Priest after he just won a championship.
I mean, I'll give it some months. I wouldn't do it right away. I would do give it like, Damian Priest facing Jey Uso, right? So it can't happen right now. But by the time we get to, I know we're going to Saudi Arabia. I know we're going to.
How long do you see Cody being champion?
I know money.
How long do you see Cody being champion? How long do you see Cody being champion?
Until Mania? Champion till at least Royal Rumble. At least Royal Rumble. Yeah.
Okay. Does he lose it at Rumble?
I mean, I'm not going to predict when he loses it, but I think it will be at least till then. It could be further. But
the only reason why I'm asking you these questions is because
it's possible for him to lose it.
Only reason I'm asking you these questions is because when does LA Knight take the championship off of Damian Priest in your mind?
In my mind, September, October, that's what I would do. If Damian Priest can hold it till then, I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
We got LA Knight as champion finally. The fans love this cat, man. And and you can tell he's a chip on his shoulder because he said it in an interview. Like, listen, I think I deserve more. He had an interview with Gorilla Position, and he's like, yeah, I'm kind of like, I want the top prize. I don't want to just have. Like he said, I'll take it. United States Championship, Intercontinental Championship would be great to have it, but he's like, I need gold this year. He's like, but I want the top prize. He wants to be the guy, and he's already done press. He's done that stuff, so he's ready for it. He don't got no kids. He's just listening. This is what he wants in life. So let's give it to him. Let's see where he can go with things. The fans love him. He can sell merchandise, have real strong angles in the main event. I want to see that on Raw. But since it's going to be on SmackDown, he's not going to be the top baby. What he will have to do is turn heel eventually. And
he can be a really good tweener though, right? We still listen. I fuck with LA Knight saying I'm DTA, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I fuck with, and again, in the Dean Ambrose role, in the Austin role, like, he fits very well in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't trust you, Cody, with your goofy tattoo. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And any bad guy that comes, I'll fuck him up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm going to wait and see, because last year, after the draft, I said the same thing, and I ended up having really enjoyed both shows for most majority of this year. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I'm probably going to say next year again if they do the same thing.
But this is what I think.
You can't have entertaining shows. I'm just trying to maximize certain characters that I like. Like Nia. LA Knight to Raw. I would like to see coming to SmackDown. I want to keep Braun Breaker on SmackDown with Cody. That's what I want to see. Where I see him develop. Now he doesn't need to win a championship right away, but he can definitely be in an angle with Cody. And get a shot at the title, and that could be a big deal.
I like Braun and Carmelo being on separate brands, and they meet at Survivor Series as champions of something. You feel
That'd
me?
be crazy. If they still, but they don't even do that anymore. Where it's like brand versus brand.
We don't know. The Trips back, bro. Trips back, bro. We don't know. Trips might change it up, cause you know what I'm saying.
True story. True story. That might happen. But yeah. All in all,
Carmelo need to take that title off of Logan Paul immediately.
Speaking
immediately.
But speaking of Carmelo, he was one of the first picks for SmackDown, and that was huge because they presented him like a star.
He is a star, baby.
And immediately he is, and but how you present, like unlike Swerve, they presented him like it, immediately from him being there. He got the mic, he talked his shit. You see him in the same shot with Cody Rhodes, the World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Champion. And Triple H, the we love these guys, and he's in the same spot as them. These two legends, and he shoots his shot at Cody, like he talked his shit. I like that. Now they had a match later on in the night. There was some miscommunication. It seemed like the chemistry was off a little bit. So I hope that this doesn't set him back because he still has all the talent in the world, and I want to see where he goes. Yeah.
I think that spot, like you said, is miscommunication. I don't think that would be held against them, but Cody did legitimately look hurt. Corey called it on the spot. Said it was a gnarly. When a white boy say gnarly, boy, that hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like that, they just don't bring gnarly out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out to Cody. I hope that shoulder's all right. But I think Carmelo is one of the best workers. I would say safest workers. He helped get Cody back and CM Punk back and MVP back, and like he's the guy. So I think it's just like you say, the juices was running. Cody looked a little gassed, I would say. I think Carmelo had a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, had his engine revving a little bit higher, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think that was key.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Carmelo there. I think he's going to be a big deal on SmackDown this year. So congratulations on your official call-up, but yeah, he's going to kill it. Eventually, he will have the United States champion. It's going to happen soon. Not right, not in a couple of months, by the end of the year. Let's put it that way, I think.
I think outside of, when I say, the reason why nonsensical it was something that I brought up is because, to your point, there can be the draft can work where I'm gonna draft this person, I'm gonna draft who I got. Trades can work, free agency. Like I know it don't make sense in the grand scheme of things, but I do believe it gives them, as we say, a buffer. It gives them a buffer to be like, hey, you home on Tuesdays, you home on Friday, you know what I mean? Like that, and if I need you to do a house show and you close by the crib, can you pull up? Like, I think it just gives the boys and girls a little bit of legitimate break, right? Even though they're still touring, they still do live events collectively, I believe. But, individually, you get to gauge who brings in the bread, right? Because it is one big pot, but it's almost like streaming. You feel me? Like when we're all under one umbrella, the top person going to get the most of the payout because it's the top person. Well, if we split that up, I wouldn't know if the top guy over here is moving it. So I only got to give it to a guy who ain't moving it over here. You see what I'm saying? So I think that plays a part in it as well. I think this will be an ability to gauge, as you say, the LA Knights of the world, who we want to see more of, who we want to see next up, who we want to see in a position to do like.
I'm just saying, when LA Knight wins a championship, that pop is going to be crazy. And the fact that he's still hot now after all this time shows that he has staying power, So it would like to see him grow on Raw. But I think that, we'll see what happens on SmackDown because I don't like there being a big baby face on the same. I know you're saying a tweener, but he's a big baby face, like on the same brand as Cody. I don't think he's worried Cody by any means, but I do think LA Knight can I think there can be a Cena effect where it's like we like this guy more than you, Cody. Eventually, and maybe that'd be a story.
But in my whole situation, what part of that was bad when it was Batista and Cena, nigga? It wasn't.
But Batista and Cena were on different brands, and that's my whole point. Like,
no, at that
they were on different brands.
At one point in time, they. But when you say, but this is my thing. Cody and LA Knight. There will be an infatuation for one or the other, not both. That plays into the story. There won't listen. Pick it. Can you choose? Choose one. Choose one. Because I know who I'm choosing. Choose one.
I mean, I'm not choosing right now.
No, that's the reason why they on the fucking same brand, nigga. Choose one. Let me see who move it. Let me see who worth it. Let me see.
When you say choose one, what do you mean by choose one? Like choose who's the champion?
Yeah, nigga. Yeah, who the man?
Right now it has to be Cody. Like I said,
no, nigga, who the man? If you gonna say if you say LA Knight is as good as he say he is, why I gotta move him to the other show? Take over the crown, nigga.
Because that crown ain't gonna be taken anytime.
Why can't it?
If the story they told with Cody till this point, I just don't see LA Knight being the one to be like, yeah, I'm next up and just taking that. And it'll be really interesting to see how things play out. Put it that way. And I'm willing to sit back and watch. Maybe they have a plan. We'll see. But one thing I did also like about talking about turning heel, Carlito turned heel. That's something I was interested in seeing. And now you got him versus Dragon Lee. I think Carlito working with Dragon Lee can help Dragon Lee take the next step going forward, because it seems like he's been kind of overshadowed by Rey Mysterio. I like Carlito as a heel, man. We haven't seen him as a heel since he's been back. So I want to see him put over like younger talent, or help younger talent by being a really good heel. So it was revealed that he attacked Dragon Lee. We'll see how that plays out moving forward. So we'll see, where this goes.
Well, I mean, you said that Dragon Lee wasn't presented. You made a situation where it's Rey Mysterio sucking the juice balls away from the stars that he's attached to, and I'm like, no. I just believe that there's an abundance of Mexican stars now, right?
Dominic got hot when he left Rey, so that's what I'm trying to say. Like maybe Dragon need at least leave Rey and like go to Raw or something.
I would just say there are guys that take the fucking spot. We got Santos, we got Andrade. Like he moved down the list. Like I'm just sorry, Dominic is even the hottest Mexican right now on the show. Like what I'm saying is, I don't think that's any fault of Rey. I will say when Rey endorsed Dragon Lee, that ain't no fucking Rey no more, nigga. Go do some flips, nigga. Hop off the barricade, do the commander shit, nigga. Get me intrigued, cuz that ain't Rey fault.
Being in the LWO with Dragon Lee joining Rey is a great introduction, but it comes a point where you gotta stand on your own feet. So yeah, get him off the same brand as Rey, because at this point, we know who he is now. Okay, we know his name. We know he can. He's Latino. We know that he can do very well in matches, and he has great matches. So why keep him away from the LWO and put him on?
Why? Hold on. If you want to talk, if you want to talk about storyline, why wouldn't Rey help Dragon Lee, or why wouldn't Dragon Lee go out to Logan Paul for the United States Championship when Logan Paul cheated Rey out the jump? Like it can be a story we build up of that, and then Santos can get involved because Santos is supposed to have the match for the United States. It's lineage in the LWO and the United States Championship and all that.
You know why? Because whenever Rey Mysterio's around, people care about Rey Mysterio more than they're going to care about Dragon Lee. That's why. That's
by proxy, I cared about Dragon Lee versus Santos when they were supposed to wrestle. When I got Santos versus Carlito, my nigga, I can't blame Rey for that. I counted. I thought we was gonna get Santos and Dragon. I was invested in that. On behalf of Ray. And he was, and I was invested with Dragon Lee. Like, yeah, whoop that nigga ass for putting Ray up on the shelf. And then when I got Carlito, I can't blame that on Ray. That's Dragon Lee got to get back in the fold. And now again, Andrade's back. Andrade shook Ray's hand. Now I nigga move to the side, guys. Like
Andrade, I think he has a different presentation. No, because I think that Andrade has a different presentation that he can get over on his own while Ray's there.
Absolutely.
We know who we're familiar with him already. I think that Andrade is a supreme talent, and he has his own presentation with his suits.
Wasn't Andrade on Raw, or was he on? Wasn't Andrade on Raw when he returned, or was
SmackDown? He's drafted to SmackDown now.
But he was on Raw, right?
Yeah, he was on Raw.
Is that not a big enough thing for you at the moment? Andrade moving over, it can't like. Is he like? Is that not big?
Andrade? He's so new that I almost don't count it. Although it should be a big deal, but he just came back. He was just on AEW's television screen at the beginning of the year. So like to me, that's like he hasn't had any time on Raw either. So to me, it's not like he was a Raw superstar anyways. Wherever he went, he went. You feel me? You get what I mean? Like it's not like he had like a long history. But
that's what the point of the draft is, my guy.
Okay, you can see it that way. I see it this way. I think that I don't look at it that way with Andrade because he's just a new character who just had one match at WrestleMania and he hasn't had any other story. He has not. It didn't matter where he went. It didn't matter if it was Raw or SmackDown.
The guy is a big enough return to have a WrestleMania spot, and it don't matter where he go. I'm confused.
Let's be clear. Let me be clear so you understand, because it's not like I'm saying that he doesn't matter at all. I'm saying that because he's so new and he had a match at WrestleMania, whether he went to Raw or SmackDown, there's multiple stories and people he could wrestle that he hasn't wrestled in years. So it really didn't matter to me of like, oh, that's a big pick, because I'm not saying, oh, now we can get this or now we can get that. No, because he can face Bobby, he can face.
Andrade's not a new character because he has history with Ricochet. He has history with Finn Balor, right? They wrestle for mid-card championships and everything like that. Those guys are on Raw. To see him on Smack, but this is what I'm trying to say.
Drew, yeah, I know.
Right. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like when you're saying LA Knight presenting on Raw, I know he's a main event guy and Andrade, but Andrade is a main event. I believe with this new regime, he is a main event guy, and him going to SmackDown can be can make him, especially if Charlotte gets drafted to SmackDown. You imagine Charlotte and Andrade both that's a main event power couple, right?
She's already been on SmackDown, so it's gonna be another one that's staying the same place. But and I get it. You don't need like everybody to change the brand, because then it's like you just swapped everybody. I just want one or two big names to change. And Andrade, he's like a free agent pickup. That's what I mean, rather than a steal from the draft. He looks like to me, he's like whether he went to Raw or SmackDown, there's multiple people he could wrestle because he's so new. Those stories you talked about are so long ago that they feel new again, But LA Knight has had a history with AJ Styles, has history with the Bloodline, has history with Logan Paul. He has history with all these people on SmackDown that I don't want to see it again. I want to see something new for him. I want to see something new this year and go to Raw. You got Seth, Judgment Day, you got all these.
But nothing's resolved with him ever with LA Knight. Every story, and this is I'm riding the wave of LA Knight, just with you. I'm with you. But what has he completed? What has he completed with everything that you said? Everything on SmackDown, what has he fucking completed? He got to close the chapter on something.
He beat AJ Styles at WrestleMania. And then, we had the match on SmackDown where he got poked in the eye, lost the match. But to me, that was the culmination of the feud, the WrestleMania match.
How was that the culmination when that was for a title opportunity? That can't be the culmination.
Okay, all right. I think that he could have been to Raw, and I've been just fine with it. I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I thought he could have just beat AJ Styles and challenged Cody Rhodes, and that could have been a feud. That like it, we could like I know we're saying either or, but
you got two baby faces and one got to lose at that point, and that's why I don't like that either. You know, like so I want these guys to be. But on
the women's side, on that same show, they're able to tell a story that I'm invested in. You can do it. Naomi and Bayley are two babies, and I'm like, yo, you can't kill Naomi. She just got back, but she need to be in the main event because she just got back. Bayley's champion. She can't lose. We're literally in the same. And Tiffany's like, I'll beat him. You like it works. You can do it. It's literally done on the same show.
I'm not saying it's impossible, bro. I'm just saying what's best for LA Knight, what's best for Cody, what's best for Andrade, what's best for Dragon Lee. In my own opinion, I might not be right. I'm gonna be clear. I might not be right, but in my own opinion, these guys could do. Dragon Lee for sure should be away from Ray. I think LA Knight on Raw would have been cool. It's not gonna happen, so I'm just gonna see where it goes. You know, but yeah, more than anything, I think Carmelo being on SmackDown. I think Andrade can make something shake over there, and Nia is a big deal. You're right. So
with Raw, I do believe Raw there will be. I don't think they'll lead the show with it, but I do believe that there will be a big whoa, welcome to Monday Night. There will be one of those moments where Corey's on Raw, right? No. Yeah, Corey. Okay. Well, it will be where one was Pat. Yeah. Pat's on Raw. Yeah, it will be. Yeah, a big name's coming to Raw. A big change is coming on. Pat's there, bro. Like a big change.
There was only 4 rounds. There was only 4 rounds this match. They got 6 on Raw, so you got more opportunity for a big name change. But I'm just saying, after that next week, after Backlash, I want to see, some new shit. That's all.
I feel you. But I hear you on that. But I am paying attention to some of the stories that I do feel like are going to be long form, right? Like I don't believe Bronson Reed is going to change from Raw because he's on a show with Sammy. Sammy's not going to change. He's going to be on Raw. Chad's already didn't change. Right? These stories are going to be long form, which I'm not. But there's not a. I'm still invested in Chad Gable. I don't want him to leave. I want him to stay on Raw because I now want to see Sammy Gable 2 out of 3 falls after Sammy get his ass demolished and finally goes over. Because Bronson Reed, he said he can have that championship anytime he wants. I think he just needs to toy with Sammy and go after Damian Priest.
All right.
Bronson Reed and Damian Priest was slapped.
All right, big change, big draft shift. Gunther goes to SmackDown. What do you think? Gunther goes to SmackDown. That's what I want to see on Monday. Let's go. You give me that, then I won't say a peep. I'm done. Like that's it. Give me one big, in the main event. That's what I want to see. So I hear you, man. But if you give me Gunther going to SmackDown, then I'll forget. All's forgiven, because I think we need some real change. Seth is on Raw still. Like it's what do you think about Raw, anyways? Because I know that Gunther said he's gonna be in the King of the Ring. You didn't get a chance to speak on that.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if King of the Ring is going to be for both brands or if it's dual brand, excessive, because what does King of the Ring and Money in the Bank mean, right? Is that like, you know what I mean? Like what does that entail? That made me think that Gunther was going after Damian, but if Gunther comes after Cody, boy, oh boy.
Yeah, and then we can get Gunther and LA Knight. That's interesting if they tell a story. Then you have some people he can mix up with. I know we haven't seen Bobby really come out his shell on the SmackDown, so he's staying there. Don't mind it so much because he has to face there are people that he can still, to link up with if they really want to tell a story with him. He's been more.
Bobby and Gunther is big.
Bobby and Gunther could be crazy. They could take the whole town down, you know. So yeah. So we'll see. He's gonna be in he's gonna be in the King of the Ring. I think they'll set the bracket up for that after the draft is done, so they can know, okay, we're gonna do these matches here, and they can figure out, you know, they just know Gunther's gonna be in it. He's the only one that's confirmed, so they can just figure out who's gonna be in it from there. Also, Imperium broke up. Unfortunately, I'm a big fan of that tag team. I don't think it's a good decision.
Boo, tomato, tomato, tomato.
It was a good decision. So we'll see where that leads.
They can't keep losing, blood. Like, I don't know what's up. Like,
I wanted them to be the ones to take the titles off of Awesome Truth. I thought that would have been like a really good spot for them because they're so serious and they're like, you know, more comedic angle. And then from there, you can get out maybe R-Truth versus Miz angle from there, and Miz can go back to being a heel, or or not. But we're not gonna get that. You know, we got DIY lost the tag title match to Awesome Truth. Tommaso didn't want to shake his hand. Gargano did. So I'm not sure where they're going with that tag team. So I don't think we should be splitting up tag teams right now. I just like we have two different. We have two different tag titles now. We got even more reason to keep tag teams together because we have a draft coming up and we need tag teams on both sides. Like, what's going on here? So that's one thing I had had an issue with. But for the most part, Raw was cool. You said Damian Priest earlier, and he is seeming like he's trying to turn in baby. We called it last week that Damian feels like a baby now after the victory, cash in. And we got Sheamus back.
Sheamus been back. Sheamus been back. Yeah. Sheamus been back, but Sheamus and Drew looks like it's going to be something. We got a promo between Sheamus and Drew, which went viral. You know, body shaming is never a good thing. People don't do that. But it was a clever one-liner by Drew, which Sheamus gave him credit for. But Drew and Sheamus works well for a secondary feud that don't have nothing to do with nothing but just friends having a disagreement and we fight about it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I really do like that. Drew going to SmackDown might be something that be benefit. Drew going to SmackDown might do something.
If Drew goes to SmackDown, the CM Punk go to SmackDown too. Because I think Drew should stay on Raw if CM Punk is staying on Raw. That's the reason.
But I would like Drew and CM Punk to be on SmackDown together.
Okay.
I think that's a shakeup because I think you'll leave Gunther. The reason why I'm saying that is because I'm just foresight, right? If Gunther's King of the Ring and it's the title, if it's just a Raw exclusive thing, if he's already, because I don't know, but Gunther might be tipping his cap. You know what I'm saying? Gunther might be like, I told Adam Pearce, I ain't going no fucking where, man. Me and Jeannie got a schedule with this new baby. I come home, I change diapers, I take naps, I get back on the road. Nothing changes for me. You know what I'm saying? So Adam Pearce probably said, yes, sir. You know what I mean? So it might be something like that. I don't know. But if it's a Raw exclusive type of situation, Gunther calling himself King of the Ring and winning that World Heavyweight Championship, Seth is already drafted on Raw. We already been cost Gunther and Seth. Yeah. I would like to also have that while Seth is chasing to come back, getting his title from Gunther. That might also work for me as well. So I don't want to be so gung-ho on Gunther and SmackDown, but if Drew and CM Punk move to SmackDown together, Gunther stays on Raw, I think that might be a big enough shakeup for me because at the end of the day, CM Punk and Seth Rollins necessarily don't need to be on the same roster because I think that was only a marriage that was supposed to work that one shot. Like the stars align for that one shot.
I think CM Punk and Seth's that's next year's WrestleMania. I think that CM Punk's winning the Royal Rumble. If I'm booking it, because I think CM Punk's never won it. He hasn't had his main event WrestleMania. That's a story. That's his story. He has to finish his main event WrestleMania. So. I mean, we can still get there if he's on SmackDown.
But this goes back to what hold on, hear me out. I asked you, hear me out. Stay with me now. I asked you how long Cody becomes champion, right? What if Drew beats Cody at Rumble? Punk wins Rumble. We got Punk Drew Mania.
That's interesting too. That's interesting too. But then what does Cody do? I mean, that's the only thing I'm asking. Like, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I like that too. I'm not gonna lie, but I think Seth and Cody have to. I mean, Seth and CM Punk should have a match at some point with all the history they have. I was just about to ask you a quick question, but shit, he's about to head out. Just give me a solo shot. All right, cool. But with all that being said, we have to get to the main event of Raw. There was a World Heavyweight Women's Championship Battle Royal that took place, and we have a new champion. Now, if you saw my recap of Raw, you know my take on it. If you didn't, I will give it to you right now. Becky Lynch won the Battle Royal, and in my opinion, I think in some people's other opinion, I don't think that was the right decision. I don't. I wanted Nia Jax to get the victory. I really did. And if not Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, after being on her revenge tour, I think was the wisest decision. Let's be real. I think that's the most smartest decision you could have done is give it to those two women. And Seth is on the shelf right now. He's healing up. Get well soon. That'll be a great time to give Becky some time away too, because absence does make the heart fonder. Let them go home. They've worked their ass off, bro. And let them be parents and like take the time. And I get it. There was an injury by Rhea, so you're like, oh, we need another big, heavyweight player who's a star to hold this championship. So in that logic sense, I get it. And you get to now save her on the Raw, like keep her, stable here to anchor that division. You could have done it differently. I just think that you could have done this differently. As for the story,
I agree. I will say that. I will agree. I don't know what question you was about to ask, but I just want to say I agree. Because listen, last week I was like, opportunity to give Nia. Opportunity to give Nia. She's working her ass off. She came back. She's in good shape. She's in good spirits. Don't nobody say nothing bad to her. She ain't knocked nobody fucking face off. She catching people. She ain't hurting people. Like, give it to Nia. And when she was eliminated, I'm like, fuck it. Okay. Give it to Liv. Give it to Liv. When they gave it to Becky, I'm like, man, what does she fight for now?
Exactly. Becky's always better.
What makes me endearing to this baby face now? You know what I'm saying?
One who's always better at chasing.
Bro, and she lost to Rhea straight up. Straight up. No fluky, no nothing, bro. You lost your opportunity, blood.
And now she has a championship. So in the real sense, it seems like, oh, you just kind of gifted it or handed it, even though she went through a battle royal. Yeah, granted, cool, but it was you just threw somebody over the top rope. You didn't pin nobody's shoulders to the mat. That's an opportunity for a heel to win a championship, in my mind. Whether it be a Liv who's like kind of turning heel, or Nia, that doesning make sense for the babyface to.
Bro, and if I'm not being misunderstood or misremembering, it wasn't like a gang elimination for Nia, right? Like it wasn't like they took the whole
for Liv and Nia and Becky. So I remember they like drop kicked her over. It was just them two combined, and then they did a leg drop on her and she fell out. So that was kind of like a tag team.
Bro, she's the most, she's an irresistible force, my nigga, and Liv and Becky got her about it.
Yeah, it made no sense. I didn't like it. Even if you want to do it that way, get Becky to win the way you did it, I wasn't feeling it. I would be even more happy if Chelsea Green won that shit. If Chelsea Green just kept getting eliminated and no one saw it because of the drama outside the ring, got back in like 3 times and then ended up pulling out the victory, I think that could have been hilarious. And
if Chelsea Green would have say Becky thought that she won, went on the top rope to celebrate, and Chelsea Green eliminated her, and ding ding ding. Oh,
that would have been crazy,
God, bro.
Montreal would have went nuts. And you don't got to give her a long reign either. She could lose that right.
She could have lost that shit next week, bro. She could have lost that bitch next week, bro. But she would have took that bitch viral.
Yeah. That would have been a genius move for real. She loses it right away next week or at Backlash, depending on what you want to do. But it would have been.
Yo, Piper could have turned on her. Piper, you could have made people. You could have made people. Piper could have turned on Chelsea. You could have made Chelsea a baby. Like but I like Chelsea and Piper as a tag team though. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, this seemed like a safe pick, Becky Lynch, and sometimes in the draft teams make a safe pick because it's like, we know this is gonna work. This seemed too safe, putting it on Becky. Like let's be real. So that's our take. So that's my take on it. Do you agree? I won't go too long on it because I think that we made our piece because like honestly. Now we got the draft. I think they wanted to keep on Raw, and that's part of the reason why they did it. Not only was it a battle royal, like come on, like they couldn't do no tournament. They couldn't wait till after the draft do a tournament. Like it just like, hey woman, we're just gonna throw you guys out there, and whoever gets thrown out first. Like, come on, tell a story to this. Like, let's get us excited about who's gonna be new champion. And it came like it was like kind of like anticlimactic, put it that way. Yeah,
I can say that.
Yeah.
We mentioned I breezed through the Sammy situation. Sammy got attacked backstage by Bronson Reed. Chad Gable gave his reason. Essentially, this should have been me. Did the Dolph Ziggler draw? You know what I'm saying? But a heel Chad Gable with his misfits of cast to help him. I don't know. It don't make me take him serious.
I think they're not going to be there for long. I think that he called them out. Like, he said, listen, you guys are losers. And this has been the best Chad Gable we've seen. And one thing I thought that was very apropos was early in the night when Gunther announced that he's going to be the king of the ring. He said, finally, I'm not the hunted. I'm the hunter now, and he gave praise to Sami Zayn and all that. And we saw that manifest later on in the night that Sami Zayn is being hunted not only by Chad Gable, by Bronson Reed, taking him out backstage. It's like Gunther's words rang true. Like people were just waiting for Gunther to lose that championship so they can take out the guy who's next to make their moment. And Chad Gable, I think, on the microphone did incredibly well, getting the spot that he was in.
Yeah, nigga, Gunther was Roman Reigns at one point. Nigga, I'm Austin Theory. Like, nigga, I cash in for the United States Championship. The fuck you thought? Niggas like, oh, you want to go at the Roman? No, I'm not going to go across the street where they shoot over there. They shoot over there.
Yeah, speaking of shoot, what do you think about? We didn't even touch on the whole tag team match setup for Backlash. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens versus Tama Tonga and Solo. They had a really good little angle there. I think I love what Solo's doing. Solo, to me, I like what he's doing.
I mean, the angle is what it is. I like what they're doing. I'll tolerate what they're doing with Randy and Kevin Owens. I would like for it to be a little bit more bossly, right? What does the underboss want? Whatever the boss had. What does
I would rather be Tama Tonga versus Kevin Owens Solo. Like it's a one-on-one match.
Yeah, for sure.
And Solo just sitting out the ring, like, win this match, take him out. We've had Kevin Owens problems for a year. Let's take him out. That's what I would prefer.
Kevin Owens needs to go to Raw too. Get his ass beat, go to Raw, and then we can get a reshaped Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, Damian Priest, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens
goes to Raw. I don't want to see him and Sami Zayn link up again. I want to see them say, listen, we ain't doing this tag team thing. I respect you and all that, but we ain't doing this shit again. I need to get my gold. You got your gold. I need to get mine. Almost like he's like looking at him like competition. So like that's what if he goes to Raw. That's all I'm trying to say.
I mean, they ain't got to link up for the tag team, but that's my nigga. If we on the same show, I got nigga. We go half on this gas because it's getting expensive now. You feel me? Like, and they can be like they could do the Kevin Owens and Adam Cole thing, where if Kevin Owens wins the championship and he's a baby and Sammy's a baby, they can lay in the bed together with championships across the laps and stuff like that. Like when Kevin Owens won the Universal title and Adam Cole won the ROH World Championship. You know what I'm saying? Or Kevin Owens and Sammy can be Shawn Michaels and Diesel. Two cool dudes. You feel me?
Man, we've seen this already. We've seen this story forever. I don't want them on the same brand even, but hey, they have to be. I
don't mind them on the same brand because at the end of the day, like it's what Thanos say. It's inevitable, my nigga. Like we came in this thing together. Jimmy and Jay gonna end up together, bro? Like, I mean, Jimmy and Jay gonna end up together? No, you don't think that's gonna happen?
Nah, the bloodline is on. Well, we don't know about Jimmy, but the bloodline is on SmackDown. So how do you finish that story? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Jimmy comes back and gets his revenge, or is he gonna run to Raw and say, "Hey, brother, please accept me back"? Like what's gonna happen? Because Jay's on Raw, like he got drafted to Raw. So I don't
You
know.
know what I'm saying? I mean, because I mean, Jimmy goes to SmackDown and do what? Get his like, what they already moved on to another fight.
Here's the thing: at some point, Roman Reigns will be coming back, and Roman Reigns will need some backup if they don't fall in line. If Tama Tonga, Solo, and potentially Jacob Fatu, if he arrives at some point, if they don't fall in line, then he's gonna need backup. And who you call? But your Usos. And I know that Jay's on Raw, but that will be a long term play for Jay. Jimmy's the most immediate guy you can call for help. You know.
Roman already said, when I come back, don't even worry about me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like Roman already said, don't even worry about what I'm gonna do, because niggas can't even fuck with me. Like I don't really know, like, when Roman come back, if he gonna be on the type of time of where he gotta be. I don't know if Roman gonna be on that type of time of where he gonna have to defend the honor of what it is, just for the simple fact that they gonna have to like force him out. And if they force him out, the biggest match that we talked about was Solo and Roman for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So Solo and Roman, I think Roman gonna have to go at that Dolo, bro. Them Usos not can't you can't. What you mean save him? Save him for what? You know what I mean? Like you didn't diminish me, you didn't put me down, you didn't did all that. You know what I'm saying? You little bro me. You know what I'm saying? Like what you mean? Like nah, man, you have to take this. So if Roman gonna want to get back to this endurance shit and get the crowd back on him and everything like that, he gonna have to take some lumps against them big bad wild cousins. Like that. Yeah, by himself. Okay. By himself. I think and when you say you don't want Sammy and KO on the same brand, if we get Jimmy and Jay on the same brand and the Creed brothers on the same, like, tag team wrestling seem like it can run amok.
I hear you, but
it can run amok though.
I mean, I do want to see the Usos reunite eventually, but if Jay Uso does not win a singles championship before that, I think it's a missed opportunity. Really, I think you finally got people to see these two twins as separate entities. And Jay Uso has the crowd in the palm of his hand with the yeet and all that stuff. Let's go with that and see if he can eventually win a championship. I'm not sure how long Sammy's going to hold the Intercontinental Championship. I'm not sure how long Jamie Priest is going to have the World Heavyweight Championship. But at some point during this year, I want to see Jay win a championship that's not tag team gold. He's done a lot of hard work to, really, set himself apart from his family, much less his brother. So I think there's an opportunity here to see what he can do on his own as a champion. But I think almost Jimmy coming in and making a tag team shouldn't happen for some time, because it's kind of like going backwards. Like, I feel like if they do it, it should be a big moment like WrestleMania. Like, okay, finally we get the Usos returning together, and it's a tag team match against a dominant tag team that's been holding shit down as a heel, and they've been maybe really causing chaos on the roster, maybe the Creed Brothers or whatever you may say. But it has to be a real dominant tag team that warrants the Usos to get back together, even if it's Tama Tonga and Solo as tag champion on SmackDown. They like go over there and fight them. That's a WrestleMania thing. That's not until then. That's how I would do it.
I hear you on that. Give me 1 second. I gotta
get up out of here. We got nothing really to talk about after this.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, nah, she wants some damn ice cream, so I had to go get some cash.
Oh, you run. I'll close the show, guys. I always love everything is wrestling. Listen, we will be back next week where we can talk more wrestling. You'll just like, subscribe, do all that good shit. Follow us at RDB Podcast 1. We out this bitch. Peace.